G'day and welcome to another episode. My name is Daethstro, the Aussie Geek, and today we will be looking at MP18 Plus Masterpiece Bluestreak, or at least the Plus version of it, or otherwise known as the anime version or the animation version, because the original MP18 had the was more the toy version. This is more the cartoon version, as I previously said. So I'm and hawing who to do after Bumblebee, and I'm like, you know what? Let's do another of the was it Fair Lady Brothers? So we've done Prowl, and now we're doing Bluestreak. I also have Smokescreen, but maybe another time. So rolls quite nice, especially on my glass table. Now this is mistransformed. You will notice this notch up here. Trust me. Getting to this after is more difficult, so I thought I'd just get this out. So normally it will be rotated under, and I'll show that after. But for convenience, this is up already. And I can show you why. If we take his gun and we fold this down, which is rather tight. So we have this peg. There is a port at the back here, and you can just, providing the handle doesn't come down, just sort of have that into there, and now his gun is on the top, and you can angle that, I suppose, if you want to try, if you can get it to work. But yeah, that's why that's up, to save me hassle, because you have to pull the legs out, and that's more trouble than it's worth. So yeah, so gun. We'll get more into that later. Excuse me. So yeah, so he does look nice, even with the blue windows and whatnot. So I like that the windows are a bit of a soft plastic, so they're not going to pop out anytime soon. There's a few seams, you know, you're going to get a squish. No license plate or anything. You see all such under the bottom. And there is a transformation. Part of the transformation I will point out that I would do different, that you should do differently to get this to work. Also, if you want, and whether this was completely intentional or not, is you can actually open his doors. You want to untab back here and pull his doors open, so you can open the doors. Unfortunately, the windows don't come with it. So yes, you can't put any figure in here or any of that, but you can open his doors if you want. Also, when you put the doors back, or even for transformation, you want to slightly get it underneath here, because otherwise it sort of pushes the window back. So if you can try to just get it under there before you give it a squish. That way it keeps these in place and they don't fall down the back. So there we go. So let's do our first size comparison. Here he is with Windblade. And as you can see, he's almost as long as she is. Obviously she's wider and about equal height, give or take. There we go. We'll get down to accessories and whatnot in a minute, but there you go. So there he is in vehicle mode. I usually have this guy obviously in robot mode. I shouldn't say obviously, because I have some that are in vehicle mode, like that Bumblebee from last week. So yeah, so let's get down to transformation. So first things first, what we're going to do is we're going to come under here and we can pull this piece down. Still stiff, but that works. And then you're going to pull down these arms like so. That'll unpeg. I'll show it better in a minute. We might want to get those doors out of the way, and we just sort of want to pull this down. It's going to untab, and just bring it all down on here. Just beware, there are ball joints, so don't pull too hard, otherwise it's going to pop. But yeah, as I was saying, these ports here, if you can see them, try to keep it focused, just see them go on these tabs. So you basically want it so the fists are pointing down and that tabs in and then just rolls up. If you've seen my Prowl video, then the transformation's identical. It's identical, it just looks different. Link up here if you want to see the Prowl video. Anyway, so we'll straighten these doors out, and then what we're going to do is untab those if it hasn't already. And we're just going to fold all this out like so. Alright, next we're going to pop this up, which is going to bring the bonnet and, oh, by the way, when you put this down, don't press too hard because otherwise it pops through. So there's little ports here, which is sort of on this side. And it's supposed to rest on top of it, but there's 2 tabs on either side. I can't really show it. There's a tab here, just a little tab here, and the other tab here. And you just want to sort of gently put in place. If you put the wheels in last, that will generally sit right. But if you go, it's going to pop all in. So it is what it is. So we're going to pop that out, and there's tabs under here, so we'll pull that back a bit, and this is going to release all this like so. Now this is where I was pointing out about this. So normally this is under here, so you have a flat top, but you have to get all this out. You know, you might be able to use a tool or something to get this up, but you literally have to get all that out just to flip that out and put that back in so you can have the gun on top. Not worth the effort in my opinion, and yeah, it just looks silly anyway. So get all that up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to flip these underneath. Oh, we better not do that yet because that's jumping the gun. So this transformation piece I will point out. So the head has to sit so that the face is in this groove. If you don't, the fists do not want to sit in properly. So when you flip it up, the instruction says, and I'll show you, let's get the accessories out of the way. Oops. So here's the instructions, and the head transformation is right here. So it says flip up, alright, so there it is there. So flip up, and then the head will go straight through the gap. No. Now I can't remember if I had the same issue with Prowl, but if you try to flip the head up, his horns are going to hit against these pieces here. And even if you angle his head, he's still going to keep getting caught. So what your best bet is rotate his head so it's facing up. Slide that through the joint, like so, and then rotate his head back. That way the horns are not connecting with this. Then we can tuck the mirrors in underneath, like so. Alright, so we'll make a little, we might do his legs just to give us a bit of a cleanup room. So what we're going to do is we're going to split back here. And first things first, what we want to do is we want to slide this piece forward so we have a bit of work room. And then you might need to get your nail in, or a tool. I find nail is a little bit easier, only because I haven't cut my nails this week. But just get in there and try to pop it. Easier said than done. There we go. Because this port plugs into here really tight like. And then that is all going to slide out. So when you're going back into robot, into vehicle mode, this has to be pulled out, otherwise it's going to get in the way. Because all this here has to slide up into here. So when you rotate, you can see that red bit rotates up there. Then this grey bit is going to go into the side, and then that tab is going to go into that port. So all that's got to line up to get into there. We can then flip this piece out, which has done it already. It has to be flipped down to get into vehicle mode. So then we can grab this, which is going to become our heel. We can flip all this out and straighten that up. So all this is not going to go in here. It has to end up angled like that. So we'll do it on the other side, but yeah. Well, actually, we'll do it this way. So it doesn't sit in. So if you're trying like this and you're pushing to get that flat, it doesn't. That's not what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to push the knee joint into the bottom, and you have this sort of angle. That way, when it lines up, this is straight, like so, and there's the back of the windscreen that's now angled for it. So there's that. So just be aware of that. If you're trying to force that in and you can't, you're thinking, I've got to get it in there, don't. You're going to break it, and it's not supposed to go in that way. So we can flip this down, just onto this tab, which I think I just completely missed it. No, other side. No, I'm sure it's that side. Okay, maybe not. All right, that side, yeah. It's got to go into that groove. So, my bad. Anyway, so we can straighten that foot out, make sure that grey piece is in the gap, and then we can rotate that all around, and that fills out his foot like so. All right, other side. So, once again, try to get that nail in there, try to get all that separated. Oh, what did I say? Rotate this piece, and even I forgot. My bad. No room if you can't get that out of there. All right, like so. Fold that down. Make sure that's up. I can actually show that a bit better this time. We're going to rotate all this down. Basically, slight combiner wars. Am I the only one, honestly, who's still using the term combiner wars for that? I know I don't use it a lot, but still. That goes in that groove. This flips up, and we can flip smoke his muffler to the back to give him his heel. And there's the legs pretty much all done. But we will get these properly orientated in a minute. All right, so next what we're going to do is we're going to flip the arms out like so. Just look camera up a little bit so we can actually see. And this can be a little awkward, so I'm going to try my best. But what we want to do is this needs to come up angled. And I think I mentioned in my prow video that I can never get this hooked up and his back, and I found out why. And I'll explain to you when we get to it. So what we want to do is we want to bring this down. We can pull his guns out now, which honestly I just realized, oh, not really. Anyway, so this is going to flip down. We can sort of move those doors back. So this is going to come down, and then we want to flip all this up into the gap where the wheels would have been. So flip that up there, as far as it'll go. All right, we can then come back here and flip this in, like so, and it's just going to sit in the gap. And this is where I discovered what I was doing wrong with prow. So if we rotate his arms around, so they're the proper way around, and I don't know if you can see it, back where I showed you where these little grey pieces was, I really need to get like a little torch. But there is a little groove in here. And this is where I was screwing up, because if you just try to plug that in like that, it plugs in, and you bring the back up, it tries to get up here. And then when you do that, the whole front lifts up. That's because I was missing the actual connector point. So you have to actually angle, see if I can get my finger in there now. You have to angle that forward a bit, and the piece is actually a little further forward. So if that's not angled right, so you do get this sort of gap in there. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see if I can show it. So you get that sort of gap in there. If it's flat, you're in the wrong place. It has to be that gap. Because then when you bring this up, because this all ends up straight because it won't move because of that piece here. So it does sort of bend there, but that's not what it wants to do. It needs to come all the way up, and then you can tab that into there, and look at that. It's not moving. So it's actually secured. So I haven't watched my prow video for a while, but I'm pretty sure I did not show that or work that out. So just be aware of that. Now the piece that's kind of got me a little concerned, because I haven't transformed this guy a lot, and his waist is tight. So it's just a matter of trying to find the best place to get your hands. So I'm trying to the front bumper and just behind his head on the red, and twist that waist around. Now there's no screw in the top here, because I thought, well, maybe I can unscrew it and loosen it, but there's no screw up here. So I'm guessing it's in his pelvis, and I'm not pulling his pelvis apart to fix that issue. But as you can see, now we have his legs around the right way. We can fiddle with his arms, get them where we want. And of course we can fiddle with his doors, and we'll angle them up because it's very classic Bluestreak. And we can angle his guns how we want. And there he is, all transformed animation version Bluestreak. And yes, I'm sure the time will come where Fans Toys or X-Trans bots or whoever makes a more coherent Bluestreak and Prowl and Smokescreen, but I'm perfectly happy with my MP versions of these. I'm kind of glad I never got the original MP one because I like these colors. I'm more attuned to the character with animation colors, not figures colors. When I do my Wheeljack, he has more his toy colors than his animation colors because I prefer it, because I did have a G1 Wheeljack at one point, but it is what it is, and I do like this even better, even though the windows are blue. So take that for what it is. But yeah, he does look nice. He fits my collection perfectly well. It's nice that I have all three of them. You know, I've got, like I said, I've got Prowl, I've got Bluestreak here, and I've got Smokescreen. So I've got all the Fair Lady brothers. So I'm perfectly happy with that. So there we go. So we'll get down to a bit of articulation. His head can do a full 360. Can look up that far. Doesn't really look down. His guns can be angled. And now one of the things I think the original Masterpiece version had was extenders to make his guns bigger. Now, I wouldn't have minded that because, like I said, it's replica of the toy version. This is a replica of the series version. But I would have liked those gun extenders. That would have been nice. But this guy does not come with them. So it's just the traditional looking, I think I got a bit of, what's his name there? Plastic leftover. But, you know, he's more reminiscent of the like I said, the cartoon. But I would have liked those connectors. But yeah, you can put them back, put them forward, angle that other piece. And if you want, you can just leave them in the back, just like I do with Prowl. Now, if we move, we might as well use them as articulation. Well, the doors can go up and down a little bit. They can go back. So if you want, it's actually hitting into there now. You can have more of a, I suppose, jazz look if you just want a clean thing. But, you know, they always have their doors out. So that is what it is. But by putting this back, you do get full articulation at the shoulders for 360. Ball joints in here and here. Gets you out that far. Gets you up that far. You also get a swivel at the shoulder because of it. So it is, use that for what you will. And of course you can have the arm further down, you can have the arm further up, whichever you prefer. He does have bicep rotation. He has double jointed elbow due to his transformation. So the elbow's here, but if you use the bicep joint, you get all the way up here. He has wrist rotation. He has typewriter fingers with just a pin here. Thumb does not move. He has a waist swivel, but you're either going to have to work that a lot or just don't. He has no ab crunch. Although if you wanted to, I suppose you could disconnect that and disconnect that if you wanted the chest to go up. That's up to you. You can lift up this flap and that gets your legs out that far. It gets your legs up that far and back that far. He has hip rotation. Now he has his knees that, now this joint here doesn't really tap into anything. I think it's supposed to, but it doesn't. But the knee actually is supposed to be there. But if you use a transformation joint, you get it all the way up there. He has, I suppose, you'd literally have to move that out of the way to get some weird inner angle, but nah. So ankle go that far, ankle doesn't really go out, foot goes up, foot goes down, but then you start moving that. You do have heel if you want to use it, no toe. So there is that. So let's get him all cleaned up. And we can get on to some accessories. Which one piece I will point out when we get to it that I had to actually Google it because I didn't know what it was for. Whoops, sorry. All right, so we do get MP18 plus card streak, and this is what I meant before. It kind of does it. It's there, but it isn't. If you have a look at the shoulders, they're meant to be more reminiscent of what he's got, but it looks more like the toy shoulders. But it is what it is. And of course, stuff on the back. I'm an Aussie who can't read Japanese. Surprise. Along with that, we have his other accessories. We have, like I said before, we have his gun, and it's just a peg in the hand. But we can get, I was going to rework these, but such is life, so bugger it. Alright, so we have multiple effect parts of different lengths. So we have a long one, we have a medium-sized one, and we have a tiny one. And basically, all these come off. Like, so this is the easiest one I can get. Those other ones are a pain in the butt. But basically, you can use this on, if you want to put it on the gun, you use this big piece here. If you want to put it on your shoulder cannons, you use these big round pieces here. So let's do it this way. Like I said, I was going to do this, if I can get off this. I was going to swap these around before I started making this video, and I didn't. So you can take that piece and you can put that on the gun, and he's firing. As I said, you can put all the other ones on, but honestly, I think these bigger pieces look better on his shoulders. So you can plug that into there, and we can plug that into there. So now he's taken down some Decepticon Seekers. So, like I said, you can put that one there, but you know, it doesn't look as impressive as the big long ones. So there we go. But I don't have this guy display with him. I like just him standing next to the other two, just looking with a smile on his face while he's holding his gun. As for the mystery, you get... Actually, we'll pull you out of the shot for a moment so it'll help it focus. You get this piece. And for the longest time, I had no clue what the hell this was for. So before I start this video, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find out what it is. Because the instructions have it right here. Where is it? No, not here. Where is it? Where is it? It might be the other side, is it? Yeah. So what it is, out ruining my instructions. So you have all the content, face parts, which we'll get to in a minute, effect parts, and then we have effect joint parts. And it points to this little one. And as I said, I can't read Japanese. So I'm like, well, what the hell is it for? It doesn't go onto his gun. It doesn't go onto his shoulders. What the hell is it for? So, as I said, I went Googling. And while I'm sure they don't need a shout out from little me, but I would like to show a bit of respect by saying if I find information from someone else that I show proper respect. But there's a YouTube channel called Cool Collectibles. K for both cool and collectibles. And he's the only one that I could find when I went searching that explains this bit. Now, I didn't look up roughly exactly where, when it got released, but apparently this is for MP44. It's for his gun. So then I Googled so I looked up MGO's MP44 because I don't have any MP44s. I only have MP10s. I have two MP10s. I got the standard one and I got the Nemesis one. And if you want me to do a short video on the Nemesis one, let me know in the comments. But having a look at when he showed off the blast effects for MP44, it did have this little number that goes in his ion cannon. So I'm assuming the idea was that if you got Bluestreak and you wanted it more of a odd-looking shot from Prime's laser rifle, ion cannon, whatever you want to call it, you would use these pieces along with this connector. And apparently it says in the instructions MP44, but as I said, I don't speak Japanese, I don't read Japanese, so I had no clue what that was, until I looked it up. So now that that's fallen out, we can just plug that in, hopefully. Yep. And that can go into MP44's gun. So if you have both MP18 Plus and MP44, leave me a comment in the comments and tell me if that is the case. Because I'm really curious. For the longest time, like I said, I didn't have a clue what it was. And now I do, and I want somebody to verify it for me. But along with those, we do get faces. And I think this was the preset face that he came with until I pulled it off and replaced it with his smile. He also has this face, which doesn't look very good in my right hand because now then it gets all shadowed. There we go. Which is more of a crap face. But Bluestreak, as far as I'm concerned, should have a smile. Good old smile, laughing at the face of danger, making bad jokes. So it is what it is. Try to get that focused again. So there we go. So final size comparison. Here he is with MP44. And yeah, there's no way that piece is even going in. Actually, you know what? Just for pure curiosity's sakes, excuse me. No, I was going to say maybe the big pieces could go into Prime's one, but it's not deep enough for it to actually hold it, which would have actually been cool. But this was being made, I believe, around the time that MP44 was starting to come out, so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, he comes up if you go from the top of the head around Prime's abs. So there we go. So yes, I've had this guy's box in my recording room for probably about 10 months, but I kept getting new figures and decided to do other ones, and mostly mainstream chugs and that. And I'm like, you know what? I haven't done it. I think I mentioned in one of the previous videos. I'm like, you know what? I got to get back to these guys. So there we go. I will do I don't think I did it for Prowl. I think I even set it for Prowl. I will do a final comparison with all three of these in robot mode because I'm not transforming them all when I do Smokescreen. So we'll see how that goes. But he is awesome, and normally, honestly, just to show off his jovial nature and put his gun in his hand, which actually holds pretty secure. Usually holds pretty secure. Probably now that I've taken it out, it's a different story. I usually have him just sort of gun up here, hand open, you know, just like sort of the intro card shows. And it's just sort of him going, "Hey, boys, you hear the latest joke?" I won't tell any jokes because I know all dirty jokes and that won't go well with this. Even though I'm not monetized, that's not going to go well. So actually, here's one for you. How much? Well, that was just a really bad start. Nah, I'm not even going to attempt. I was like, I just tell a stupid joke, but that didn't work. But yeah. But yeah, so if you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. I promise you it will not hurt my feelings. Someone even did for my, I think my Bumblebee video, as of when I'm recording this. No, not hurt, nothing. All good. Your opinions matter. Leave me those comments in the comment section, whether I am right about, well, me and Cool Collectibles are right about the gun attachment for MP10 MP10, MP44. So if you've got this guy on him, yeah, let me know if that is the case. Subscribe, ring that bell, and yeah. So I'm thinking about bringing back the picker bots. I'll leave a post after I've uploaded this, and just see if you guys think I should bring back picker bots. I got one reaction for it when I first did it, but we'll see if that's the case. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.